Welcome to the Core of Success podcast. Entrepreneurship, success, health, life. Big things are in your future. And now, your hosts, Sean and Mike.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 15
Woo!
of the Core of Success podcast. Mike, we say this a lot, but this one is special. And let me tell you why. First of all, this is the first time we've ever filmed one or recorded one off-site. We are in New York City.
New York City.
Greatest city in the world. Why are we here this week?
We are here for UFC 244, the belt, baddest MFer belt, which is going down tonight. So excited, so pumped up to be here.
This is going to be great.
The Rock is even here.
The Rock's
here. Not in the room.
No, he's not here at the Core of Success yet. Maybe next time.
Yes,
but we do have somebody super special that we're going to introduce you to in a second.
Yes.
But before we get to that, speaking of UFC 244, who are you going for tonight?
Hey, man, I like both the fighters tonight. In the main event, I'm going to go with George Masvidal.
Oh, good.
I'm going with George tonight.
I personally am going for Nate Diaz, so that's good. We'll have a we'll put $1 on it later.
There you go.
We'll see. We'll see how the day goes.
Yeah, but it should be a great evening. Going to be with some awesome friends and just really super excited about that for sure.
Awesome.
Yes.
There's a little pressure on this podcast because there's a couple special people in the room. One is my son Noah, who is doing a little journalism in his own right, and he's won some awards, so he's there. I'm not looking at him in case we mess up.
Well, I'm definitely going to mess up.
Oh, well, that's good. You better get used to that.
He's used to me messing up.
Well, true. You are.
He's known me for a few years.
Yeah. But the other thing that's cool in this episode is there's somebody that you have probably mentioned in almost all 14 prior episodes in some fashion or another.
Absolutely.
Right. Your spirit animal, if you will.
Yeah,
somebody that we both admire very much
100%.
and started his business and are happy to say that we have formed somewhat of a friendship.
Yes.
And it's been great because he is quite a person. So we are honored today to welcome to the Core of Success podcast our good friend, Michael Sanciprian.
Yes, sir.
CEO of World Gym Taiwan and all-around nice guy.
Yeah, look, he's a great guy. And before Michael jumps in and we get to some questions for him, we mentioned him so much during the podcast that because to me, Mike, you really embody what it means with culture, with winning, and teamwork. So I want to talk we're going to get into all that, but really when we talk about winning and teamwork, this guy is the guy. For sure. So thanks so much for coming on today, man. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. First of all, I got to say, I'll pay you guys later for that beautiful introduction.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so at least you can add, correct, we could add some cash to that bottom line there.
Yeah. No
hey, wait a minute. If he does that, does that make us professional podcasters?
Oh, I think it will. Well, maybe not me.
Okay, let me retract. I'll donate some money
Okay.
Well, thank you.
to your favorite charity.
There you go.
Because we can't get professional. But on a serious note, thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
very excited. I actually do listen to this.
Oh,
I live in Taiwan. I'm always believing in ongoing education. I'm driving my car. I pop the podcast in. I hear you two going at it. And at first I was like, I know these guys for a long time. I don't know about this stuff, guys. But you know what? I have to say is I'm very, very proud of both of you. It's actually entertaining. Actually, there's some substance. I can't believe that.
Right, that's what we're surprised.
Correct.
We knew we'd have a little entertainment.
We were right about that.
Yeah, then I got added pressure because we got Noah, Sean's son over here staring at me like going, what's this guy even talking about?
Right.
But no, I agree, yeah. But thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you being here. This is going to be a masterclass in entrepreneurship and culture and winning, and we're just excited. So, Michael, why don't you just tell us briefly, how did you get into the fitness industry?
Well, that's a good question, actually. How it started, I was 12 years old. I grew up in a tough neighborhood. Long story short, single mom, raising 3 kids who worked 3 jobs, and we had no money. So I went into a gym called Jack Elaine's.
Oh, wow.
Showing my age a little bit, so don't judge me on this, everybody. So I was in Jack Elaine's. I went in there and said, hey, I'm not old enough to work, but I wanted to work. And he said,
what age was this now?
I was 12.
Wow. Okay.
They go, well, you're not old enough to work. I go, hey, I just want to work out.
Yeah.
Damn right.
And then he goes, hey, it was Joe Barada. It was actually Jacqueline's partner at the time.
Wow.
He goes, hey, you ever clean swimming pools? This is a true story. Now, mind you, where I grew up, there was no swimming pools, okay? He goes, you want to clean swimming pools? I said, sure.
Right.
I made that shit up. I'm not going to lie. I really did.
Yeah,
the answer is always yes.
Yeah, so I said, yeah. He goes, if you clean swimming
right?
pools, you clean equipment, he goes, you get a free membership. I said, beautiful. So, yeah, you appreciate that. So I jumped into the pool. Yeah. He goes, we don't do it the little kids' way around here. I go, what do you mean there, sir? He goes, he gave me a brush. So he made me scrape the brush, all the algae off the pool.
Wow.
So I'm going to give me a mask and a snorkel. So I'm scraping the pool. True story. Then I hear this doot, 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 go on the top of the water. Guess what it was?
Chemicals?
He's pouring chlorine into the pool. I'm scraping.
As you were in the pool?
Yes.
Oh, that's free.
I'm not making this up. True story. So I'm cleaning the swimming pool. All of a sudden, I get out of the pool. My back's a little burnt.
I bet.
Yeah, sure. You're like, wow, you got a little tan on.
Yeah, it's a little burnt. So I started cleaning swimming pools, and then I grew up in a tough neighborhood. So the gym kind of saved my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was truly something that I was very athletic. I had a strong passion for fitness. I started working out, and it kind of changed my life. It got me an environment that I could get off the street. I could work out at a very young age and kind of keep me, on the right path.
Yeah.
So my first introduction to fitness was then. I started cleaning equipment.
Wow.
And I started cleaning swimming pools, and I started working the front desk, and on and on.
So yeah, you like a lot of people in the industry, you come from an athletic background, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And you were what sports did you play?
I played football, basketball, baseball.
Okay.
And at the collegiate level, we played football and baseball.
Very nice.
So sports was a big part of my life, a big part of my passion, success, a big part of focus, a big part of belief in myself, and also the most important thing, it gave me a purpose.
Yeah.
So the purpose was necessarily sports, getting out of my neighborhood, able to get educated, find a way to get out so I could take care of mom and family.
So you have this love of sports and this passion, this desire to get out. And you're cleaning swimming pools at the club. But what was it about the clubs? Obviously, the athletic side, you're drawn to a health club like we all were. But what was it in the club? Obviously, you didn't want to spend a life cleaning swimming pools. But what else were you seeing there that said, wow, maybe this is an area I'd like to dig in a little deeper and spend some more of my energy on?
Well, the first thing is when you're 13 years old and you're looking around, you could probably guess what I'm going to say right now. 13?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking in the mirror, putting a little muscle on.
Yeah, buddy.
I see beautiful young ladies and women running around.
Yes.
And I could get to work in this environment.
Woo!
At 13 years old,
Checking
it
out
gave
the
you
biceps,
a very
the
strong
triceps.
purpose.
Yeah,
So it was a healthy environment. It was a clean environment.
Yeah.
It was a safe environment. It had purpose to it.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was I could relate to it. So fitness was something that was relatable, how I was growing up. It gave me a purpose that what I understood is athleticism. How I grew up was a very aggressive culture.
Yeah.
How I grew up in the neighborhood was very aggressive. So I had to find something to channel that aggressiveness versus something that could give me a point purpose in life.
Yeah.
So fitness is kind of with athletic trail, but also too the purpose was I could relate to it.
Yeah.
It was something that you could feel inside your body. I could feel it in my heartbeat.
Yeah.
When I was working the front desk, I could feel it. I love the environment. I love the culture. I love people. I love talking because I'm very shy, as you can tell. And I love this connecting to people.
Yeah.
And then sales, when I got into sales part, just selling memberships.
Love this part.
It was a connection because there's no doubt I grew up a certain way and I had a certain lifestyle. So, there's certain things that necessarily you do as a young man that you can relate to. So selling maybe not the most, say, the correct environment, I could take it to the positive environment. So the hustle, I went to a hustle that maybe it was not proper, but I don't regret anything because I learned everything from it. But I channeled it to a positive hustle, something I could relate to, selling memberships, connecting to people. And it gave me I could keep my aggressive side to me.
Yeah.
But with the culture of myself that it was a safe environment.
Yeah. I think you've said the word relate a lot here so far. And Mike, I think it's an important lesson there for people that are looking to have success in a certain area of their life, or those looking to be entrepreneurs. Having something that you can relate to, meaning, and I think what you mean by that, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying there's certain traits inside you, there's certain things that are part of who you are.
Correct.
And now you're seeing them in a potential area that you can go and work, you can spend energy, and you're saying, okay, there's a connection there, right? You relate to that, and that's driving it toward the purpose, saying, wow, I can take this connection between who I am as a person and what this industry is providing and make something bigger out of it.
Correct.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people miss that, right? They either chase the money or they look for something that, I might be really good at this, but it's not really what I'm passionate about.
Correct.
Right? What would you say to somebody who's in that boat? Because I think that's really common nowadays.
Yeah, I think it starts with your purpose. So what happens is here's a quick thing I learned is about goals. Everybody says, I have a goal. I want to set a goal.
Yeah.
But the problem is if you don't have a purpose to get you to that goal, it makes absolutely no sense. Because we all know you make money today, it's never going to be enough. Yeah. Money's like an empty glass of water. I always use the example like we did at dinner the other night. I explained this, that the glass could be full, but the water is see-through, it's translucent. It doesn't have any substance in it. So what I learned at a very young age, watching my mom work 3 jobs and raise 3 kids, is my purpose and sole purpose in life was to create a better life so I could take care of her.
Wow.
And that was the sole purpose of me necessarily working my ass off. My sole purpose of that passion that equals to my goals.
Wow.
But I think a lot of young men and women do, and entrepreneurs in general, is they set goals. They set goals, but they don't have a purpose to it. So when you hit a wall, you hit a challenge, what happens is you stop or you make an excuse. Why? Because your purpose is not strong enough to get you through that damn wall. So you really look back, you have a team or your individuals or kids. If their goal is say, I want to make money, most of us as managers or owners, entrepreneurs, we go, okay, their goal is to make money. But what's the purpose to why they want to make money?
Yeah.
Why do I want that new car? Why do I want that promotion? So I solely believe, I've always believed in that your purpose is bigger than yourself. Yeah. So if your purpose is bigger than yourself, you're always able to channel and achieve those goals. But we set goals with no purpose, it equals that glass of water that is just empty.
That was key. How about, when did that really kick in for you, though? Because we're talking now a few years later, obviously. How many gyms are you up to, or health clubs, by the way, are you up to now?
We'll be at 93 by year end.
Crazy. Awesome. It's amazing. But when did that kind of kick in for you, though, Michael? Like, as far as with the purpose, when you knew, like, because obviously being in the health club, being in the gym gave you joy, right? You had the passion, the joy. But when did that really kick in as far as that, okay, this is what I want to do. This is my purpose. This is how I'm going to live my life. This is what I want to do.
Well, I think the breakthrough moment for me was I was 14 years old. My mom was working a job. Right? It was her 3rd job. So I remember going up there. She worked at this gas station. It was an Exxon gas station. I remember riding my bicycle up there and checking on her. And I remember she was sitting at the counter. It was on her 3rd job on the 3rd shift that day and watching her. And she was basically dead tired and sleeping at the counter. And it reminded me right then and there is, one, I don't want that life. Everybody knows me. I'm passionate about my family. I love my mother to death. I didn't want her life. 2, I couldn't let her have that life anymore. So as a young man, I had to make a decision. Do I care about myself as a purpose, or is it my mom and my family? And when I saw that, it was basically connected to both. I said, I don't want that life. I don't want to live like that. I don't want to struggle like that, but I can't let my mom do that. So at that time and age, I made basically a patent, and I made a commitment to myself saying, this is what I have to do. At that time, I didn't know I was going to be in the gym business for 30 plus years and have 13,000 employees and all that stuff.
Right.
All I knew was I had to make something out of my life. So to answer your question is, when that purpose developed in me is when I saw it that day and that night. At that gas station, at midnight, when I rode my bicycle home that night, I remember going, I can't have a life like this. I can't let my mom have a life like this. And this is not life.
Yeah.
So that was a time and moment, I think, maybe a big shift in my mind. Going from how I grew up and watching people, they're getting shot, going to jail, going to prison. And I have to make sure I go in the right tracks. My purpose was a better life for myself so I could have a better life for my mother.
I think it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful purpose. Awesome. It's incredible how vivid that memory was. Yeah. That was a great question, Mike asked. Years ago. But instantly you said, boom, you knew it. You're not to date you, but we're talking 25, 30 years ago. Yeah. It's like, yes, you can see yourself on that bike.
Don't lie, you're dating.
You're dating, yeah. You can see yourself on that bike, and you remember exactly what it was, and it created this purpose that you still live by today. Correct. The better life for your family first. For yourself. But I just want to repeat something you said, because I think everybody should take note of this. You said goals without purpose or an empty glass of water.
Yes.
And that's a powerful statement because I think you're absolutely right. You know, it's November now. We're coming on. In just a few short weeks, we'll be at the new year, right? Everybody starts setting their goals again.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
But who talks about the purpose? They talk about how to set goals,
Yeah, which money,
but goals without
sale,
the purpose, you're going to lose, right? It's a fool's errand.
Yeah, every time, because you got to realize this. We're trained. Every management seminar, every training seminar, college, everything trains you to do one thing. Set a goal. Look at the goal. Tape the goal up on your wall. Tape it on your mirror. But when the times get tough, if you don't know why you're trying to get to that goal, you stop. People, gym business in general. January 1st, January 2nd, New Year's resolution. Yeah. I want to lose weight.
Right.
And most people go, I want to lose weight. Question is, why do you want to lose weight?
Right.
Why do you want to put more muscle on, Mike?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, Mike, why?
Oh, well, for me, why do I want to put more muscle on?
Oh, yeah.
So I can just look better, be stronger.
Yeah.
You know,
that's that's your lifestyle, right?
Challenge myself, absolutely.
But you take, I want to lose weight, right? And people go, oh, you know what? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
People go, diets don't work. Of course diets don't work because at the end of the day, there's no purpose to the diet.
Right.
Purpose is a lifestyle that equals a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, we've all been in this game, you know, the fitness industry, over 20 years, right?
Yeah.
The numbers on people who join and then quit in 6 months, they really haven't changed, right?
Never.
And it's because I think you're 100% right. All we talk about is, what are the goals? What are the goals? What are the goals? But not why do you want to reach those goals, right? And if people dug in on that, show me some numbers on that, or people really define that purpose for them, I bet you we could start to make a shift there. But you know, what you're talking about is extremely powerful personal purpose for you. But how did you then translate that into, because you could have went many ways with that, right?
Right.
So,
how did you decide, okay, I'm going to play this game for myself. I'm going to become an entrepreneur and control my destiny. Where did that come from? And tell us a little bit about that story.
Yeah, well, I think it started when I always looked at it. When I started selling memberships, and I realized after my third month doing it, I realized I'm good at this. I can relate to this. I was number one. So kind of give you a quick snapshot. Like, for instance, I came back. When I first started back in the gym at California Family Fitness, I was at the gym. I was selling memberships. And the first 4 or 5 weeks, I was sleeping in my truck.
Wow.
I came back, and necessarily I didn't have a place to live, and necessarily I was too proud. And my mom was already struggling. I was helping her out. And there was no way I was going to go back home. So I remember I was sitting there, and at night, so what I would do, I'd get to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning. I would work out, so nobody knew. I would go necessarily take a shower, work till like 9, 10 o'clock at night, take a shower, or go work out, take a shower, and then I would go to a place called Rush Park. It was in Sacramento, California at this time. And then I would sleep in the park. And then I remember the park ranger come knock on my door, hey, you know, and I kind of established a relationship with them. And I kind of told him, he said, well, okay, Michael, just make sure you move around. And I remember at that time, every time I went to the gym that morning, and I remember my first month, my manager comes up to me. His name was Brad. He goes, hey, Michael, I think you should go to the front desk. I don't think you're too good in sales. And I was like, I had a choice. Yeah, you're right. Or you know what? Screw you, because I know I'm good. I got to make sure I channel that focus. So after that conversation that month 2, month 3, I got my first paycheck. I was number 1 in sales, and I was number 1 in sales for 4 years straight.
Wow.
Then I became a GM. Then I became a VP. Then I kind of went on my own. So what happened is I believe in everything. I believe you got to become a master at one thing.
Yeah.
People go, well, you got to love what you do. Yeah, you got to love what you do, but you got to be a master at that craft. So at a very young age, I was learning. I was listening. I was asking questions. Yes, I was number 1 in sales. Yes, I had the best pre-sales, and I became a GM, and I was the GM of the year because I had to do that to be the master at one thing of what you do. And I always believe that's how you win.
Yeah.
You know, you take Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's a master basketball player.
Yeah.
But he's not a master at ownership.
Right. True.
He's owned the team for a while. Actually, just sold a piece of it. He sold his interest back out of it.
Right.
Couldn't win.
Yeah.
One of the strongest leaders and winners of our time on the court.
Yeah.
Great point.
Because he's a master at that.
Right.
So I believe, and there's people could do multitasking, but to be a master at one thing. So I told myself at a young age, if I focus and became a master at one thing, and if I can master it, and I find great people who are masters in their crafts, and I can learn from every single person, then I can necessarily be the powerful one that could be a master at what I wanted to do.
Right.
And the fitness is related to me. And I love the business. I believe it saved my life, and it changed my family's life, my life, and everybody around me. And then what happened was when I was a VP at one time. And then I was looking in the mirror. I was making good money. And I said, there has to be more. Mm-hmm. I wasn't fulfilled.
Yeah.
You know, I need more.
What age were you there at that point?
Like, I was 25.
25 years old.
And I said, it
already
has to
successful,
be more.
right? As far as how we would, most folks would determine.
Yes, people would say success. Right,
sure.
Right. People could
say. So you're 25 years old. You look in the mirror. You said, "There's got to be more."
Yeah. So I started my own consulting company. Mm. I was consulting to fitness centers.
Did you leave the gym at that time?
Yeah. And I left that job. I started my consulting company.
Did people say you're crazy?
Oh, for sure. I get that all the time still.
Right. Well, right. That crazy.
Because when people can't think.
You were crushing it and doing well.
Yeah, because people have fear.
And then you left. Yeah, people are like, why would you leave, Michael? Why would you do that?
Fear.
Yeah.
The only stop factor that stops you from moving forward is fear. Mm. And I was always fearless.
Yeah.
I had no fear. I had nothing that would ever stop me. My mind would never let me believe that I could not do anything in this world. It doesn't mean I do everything correct. Doesn't mean I do everything right. Doesn't mean that necessarily you're always going to win. But your mindset has to be that you win.
Is that because so you were fearless? Is that because you were not afraid to lose, or because you were always confident that you were gonna win?
I was never afraid to lose.
Yeah.
Because every time someone loses, I call that a challenge.
Yes.
So if someone loses, they get defeated.
Yeah.
If you lose and you look at it as a challenge, you learn from it so you can overcome it.
Yeah.
So people have the mindset, oh, well, I tried my best. I have this famous line. When someone says in my company and my world, I'll try my best, that means they're not trying their best.
Right.
So I believe in the mental muscle is the strongest muscle in the world, and you got to work it like our muscles every single day.
Yeah.
Did you think, too, when you say you won't lose, was it more that you'll never quit? Was that really what it was? Like, no matter what, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to finish this out. Like, we talked a little bit about it last night at dinner, right?
Right.
That I'm going to win. But really, because of that, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to win because I'm never going to quit. No matter what, I'm going to finish this through. Was that a part of it?
Yeah, that's a good point. What it was in my mind is, for instance, in sales, I would work. I didn't take days off for years. I would work 30 days in a month, or 29 days in a month, or 31 days in a month every day. Mm-hmm. So what I realized was, from day 1 to day 30 or 31 or 29 days, whatever the number of days in the month is, if I worked every single day with the same intensity, the same focus, and the same speed, if I did that every single day, I'm always going to win.
Yeah.
What happens is someone comes out the gates, right?
Consistency.
And how it was is like, we have an up system back in the day. We're talking almost 30 years ago. Yeah, so the first person got to the gym would be on the rotation. So I would get to the gym at 6 a.m. The gym could open at 5. The next guy got there at 5:30 at one time. So I got there at 5. And then I do that every single day. And what I realized was they will break. Most people in this world will break. Mm-hmm. Day 14, day 18, day 20. And once you break, I just keep going. So my mindset is maybe I don't have the biggest education. I wasn't the smartest. But I had a tenacity of that necessarily. I could not lose.
Right.
Mm.
So when I was talking about winning, and I have a lot of young people in my culture, right? Winning necessarily, people go, well, not everybody can win, Michael. Or people who take second place. No, you can't. You have to win. So at a very young age, I told myself mentally that I have to win. Mm-hmm. And if I have to win, what does it take to win?
Right.
And it was every single day, the tenacity, just going at it. It was a bad day. I just keep going. Have 1 sale or 100 sales that day. You just keep the machine going consistently over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. You're going to win over time. Mm. Because as you guys know, bad things are habits.
Right.
That's right.
So I think you said another very important thing that I would just want to pause on. And you said, master one thing. And I think that's huge because a lot of people today think that they have to be all things. Right, to all people, but mastering one thing is absolutely right. If you're the best at whatever it is you're doing, and I think you said something else important too. You started to fill in people around you that were better at the things that weren't your thing, and not to say that you couldn't get great at those things, but you said, no, this was my thing. I'm going to master it and have other people do the other things and start to create this mindset and this culture of winning.
Correct, and that's the whole thing. People have to be able to look into the mirror and say, okay, what am I great at?
Yeah.
You can't be great at everything. It's impossible. Now, you can know a lot. You can learn a lot. Yeah. So my theory was I'm going to be the master at one thing. Then I'm going to find the smartest people then necessarily they're a master of their thing. Yeah. So I covered my culture, I covered myself, or my company, or our company culture, or a team, or our marketing department, or HR. I found masters in each one. Not only that, at the end of the day, when you got 13,000 employees, right? I got to be the dumbest of box of rocks to think that at the end of the day, that I control all of that.
Right.
It's impossible.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Michael, you have a puppet. You used to get puppets.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You create that culture and you find intelligent, smart, hardworking people that believe in what you do, and then you got to give them necessary a lane to work in. So like what you said is I found different lanes of people who are great at one thing, and I made them a master at that. I empowered them to be the master at that. Because my whole philosophy in life is I work for people.
Yeah.
They don't work for me.
Right.
I work for my team. They don't work for me.
So what was the one thing, though? Was that sales? Was that marketing? Like, what was it for you? You said you mastered that one thing. What was that one?
It was sales and marketing. Because at the end of the day, if anybody out there, you own a company, you're thinking about starting a company, there's one thing you have to be able to do in this world. Sell.
Right.
I don't care what it is.
Right.
You can have the best product. You can have the best customer service. And don't get me wrong, service is important. But if you could have any one tool in this world to be successful, to build a company, or survive during the toughest times, is sales.
Yes.
ABC, always be closing, right?
we believe in that 100%. Yes. And I think a lot of what you're saying really resonates with me because as I started the abs company and I was going through, I had to do a lot of it, right? I had to do all those things.
Right.
And, if I couldn't sell, we wouldn't be here all these years later.
Correct.
But to really take it to the next level, I had to bring in someone better than me at selling, and that was Mike. Right? There's nobody better than him at selling, and that allows me to focus on the things that I'm good at. And I think it's really an important lesson for people to hear. Double down on your strengths, right? Don't try to solve these weaknesses all the time. Find people better than you at them so you can stay in your lane, and that's how you're going to grow. But I love what you said about consistency too. Is like a lot of people think that you have to get these big wins every single day. But you're just saying keep going each day, stack the wins, and that's where the result's going to come from. But I know when you're grinding 29, 30 days out of the month, it's not easy, right? You're going to face challenges. There's going to be horrible days. But I think that's what kept you going. It had to be that purpose again, right?
Correct.
You're facing these tough days. The tank may be running on empty, but then you remember that purpose. Better life for my family, better life for me. I think the tiredness, the down days, they went out the window quick, didn't they?
Correct. And that's the whole point. That's why I always talk about with purpose. You're talking with business entrepreneurs, young adults, young men, young women. The thing that people always forget is at the end of the day is we always talk about goals. We talk about purposes. But now how do you get goals and purpose connected together? And how do you win? Is habits. So what you have to realize is when you're consistent every single day.
Let me pause you for 1 second. I want to make sure we got that. So to connect goals and purpose, the way to execute on that is through habits.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Please tell us more.
Because you have to have habits. Because at the end of the day is you got the strongest purpose in the world. You could have your goals. And you can tell yourself you want to win. But if you don't have the daily consistency of habits, you're not going to get there. If it's in sales, you have to have certain habits every single day. If it's within yourself, you have to have certain habits every single day.
So tell us a couple of habits that you have, right? You are an extremely busy guy. I know we joke about this all the time. You're in Taiwan, 12 to 13 hours ahead of us, and we're communicating with you like you're sitting with us in the United States.
Right.
You don't stop.
Correct.
So you're an extremely busy guy. 13,000 employees, did you say?
Yeah.
92 facilities, so on and so forth. You have to have habits or you'd never keep it all straight. So give us a couple.
Well, I think the number one majority of habits you got to make sure you understand is energy.
Okay.
People go, well, how do you do that? Well, if you don't have a consistent energy about yourself, if you don't have an energy that can keep you going, keep your engine going, keep yourself focused, keep your teams going, keep people around you, you just quit right there.
Right.
You don't have energy, your life's over.
Yes.
You meet people, right? You ever hear people,
Love it.
oh my God, they're electric in the room. Or we're all USC fans, right?
Yeah.
We're sitting at the press conference yesterday, and we're talking about, that guy's pretty good up there, but you know what? They're not Conor McGregor.
Right.
Why? Because there's a natural energy that we get grabbed to. I call it the magnetic effect.
Yeah.
The magnetic effect is I always picture myself as the magnet, and I can attract stuff to me.
Yeah.
I don't know everything, but my energy, I can attract things to me. I get great people, or I can have great friends like you guys, that people come to me that necessarily I can learn from. So energy was the very first habit. I always preached that. High energy, high energy, high energy. I know it sounds cheesy and simple, but real. How you take care of yourself, how you take care of your body, how you look at life. Yeah. Energy is not just screaming, yelling. Right. Energy is a controlled containment that you could do every single day of your life. Yeah. Because what happens is once you set I call it the energy bar. Yeah. Once you set that energy bar, if you ever drop below that bar and if you've done it consistently, people will let you know. Yeah. It's like, hey, Michael, I'll walk into my clubs, and if I don't have that certain energy and how I am, my eye contact, my voice projection, they're going to go, are you okay? Yeah. So I set automatically, I set a habit of every single day, that energy has to be at level 1. I mean, level 10, from a level 1 to a 10, it's a 10. Yeah. It has to be. That's the number 1 rule.
I think they say, it's with the energy, the key with energy is being able to transfer that energy to other people.
Correct.
That's the key, because I think you made a great point. It's not about just coming in hooting and hollering.
Correct.
That's not energy. That's being noisy.
Yes.
We saw probably the best example in the world yesterday. Remember who came on the stage?
Yes.
Was who?
The Rock.
The Rock, right? Yes. He comes on stage. That man just walked from behind the curtain and the place goes nuts.
Correct.
Talk about bringing an energy to a room.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. From that 1 to 10, he's coming out at a 10 every time.
Right.
And I can see it in your business. If you're not at that 10, 13,000 employees are looking at you like something's wrong, right?
And that's the key is, always everybody has their own habits, right?
Yeah.
There's personal habits and there's company habits.
Yeah.
Habit number 2 is every single day self-learning. You've got to feed the mind every single day. It's impossible to grow yourself. So people always say, hey, Michael, why always in a good mood? You're always high energy. But you ever have a bad day? At the end of the day, here's what I realized about 20 years ago. People used to come to me, hey, Michael, what's happiness? Or I talk with a lot of young men and women. I work with a lot of kids, and they always go, what's happiness? And what I realized was after engaging, talking with a lot of smart people, happiness was just growth. Happiness was literally growth. If you think about our lives, anytime you physically grow, you learn something new, you listen to a tape, you listen to a seminar, you listen to a podcast, you read something, you go somewhere, you talk to somebody, and you learn, you feel good.
Yeah.
You get a promotion.
Yeah.
You feel good.
Progressing.
You start making more money. You feel good. Yep. You have beautiful kids like you guys do. You watch them grow. You feel good.
Yep.
So you never feel unhappy when you grow. Yeah. So the habit number 2 rule was I had to grow every single day. Anybody who's close in my environment or anybody close to me, they have to grow too.
Yeah.
Because if they're not growing, they don't understand that, they're not going to connect with me.
Yeah, we love that because, at the Abs Company, one of our core values is we believe in constant improvement, both business and personal. 100%. If you're not growing, you're dying, right? I always give the example of you're running on a treadmill, right? You're moving. Stop. What happens? You're not just going to stay there. You're going to fly right off the back of that thing.
Too, if I can just say, being as successful as you are, that's what's really inspiring for me personally, because you're somebody at this point, due to the success you've had, that could possibly, not you wouldn't, but take your foot off the gas a little bit and say, you know what? Look how successful I am. I don't need to learn anymore.
You're right.
You're the opposite. You're always searching. You're always learning. Shit, you're listening to our podcast, right?
I know.
But you know what I mean? You're always doing, every time I talk to you, hey, did you read this book? Did you do that? And you're as busy as they come too. And you're able to find time to do that. But that's what's really gets me all the time. Like, man, this guy's still going. So what a lesson for everyone, whether you're starting out or you're at that level where it's at a critical stage or business is starting to go okay, but you take the foot off the gas and then you wonder why things aren't happening anymore.
But it goes back to your purpose, right? What's your sole purpose? If your sole purpose is just money, that's what your purpose is. Okay. And once you acquire some wealth or some money, your purpose is done.
Great point.
So that's why I say my purpose was always people.
And what happens to that guy whose purpose was money and he got some and he let off the gas?
99% of the time, they end up broke or they end up unhappy.
100%.
They're alcoholic. They're drug addicts.
Right.
Divorced, family problems. There's always issues involved. That's why I always tell young men and women all the time. If anything, it's a habit.
Yeah.
So people talk about passion, love what you do. There is truth to that. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, there's sometimes you start something, you just don't love it. Mm-hmm. But what you do, you acquire a taste of it. Mm-hmm. And once you acquire the taste, you acquire habits. And once you acquire habits, now you know how to win.
Yeah.
And then you end up loving it.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of young kids, a lot of charities. And you can't tell a young man or young woman, found your passion. Mm. Well, They don't know.
No.
Right.
But create good habits. Teach the mindset. Work that mind muscle. And let them develop what their passion is.
Yeah.
I was just talking with your son last night, right?
Yeah.
Very intelligent young man. Very intelligent. He's basically saying, I know.
After his mother.
Yeah, not after you. Yeah, thank God
Take
for those
notes, though.
Yeah, thank God for those genetics. But, the fact is very intelligent. He knows what he wants, but he doesn't know what his passion is yet.
Right.
But he has a great outlook on what he wants and where he's going to get his major in, what he wants to do. Passions develop sometimes.
So create the habits, and the passion will often reveal itself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it's another unique, so to speak, way of looking at it, because I think we are told exactly the opposite.
Correct.
Right? Just like we're told all the time, set goals, but nobody talks about the purpose.
Correct.
We're told find your passion, but nobody talks about the habits. Because even if someone happened to, maybe they did know their passion, if they didn't have the habits, it's going to be pretty tough to execute on the passion, right?
Yeah, those are the stories, right? You talk to people. I had a great idea. Hey, Mike, I had a great idea. Yeah. Hey, Sean, you know what? I had a chance, but it just didn't work out. Doesn't mean they didn't love it or have passion for it. They didn't have the proper habits to it. So if you don't have the proper habits and develop those habits every day, whatever they are,
So your first two were energy, right? It was habit number one.
Yes.
Have a consistent energy, feeding the mind, feeding the body, staying consistent. Number two was self-learning, right?
Yes.
Always improving. Give us one more. Give us one more habit that's truly powerful to you.
Yeah, the third one is winning.
Winning.
Damn right.
You got to be able to have it. So I always talk about small wins in our company. So within our company is this, I don't care what it is, right? We're very, very, we're aggressive culture. I call it the animalistic culture. And I'm the luckiest man in the world. I got great team players. They work their ass off for me. They kill themselves. For the fact is they know how to win. Yeah. So everything we do in life, I don't care what it is. Let's say we're talking about sales in my world.
Yeah.
A simple thing is the master appointment book. You have to set appointments to get people to come in, right?
For sure.
Everything has a goal to it. And what's the purpose to that goal? Is basically necessarily to get that, it's very simple, get the member to the gym. But let's say they have no sales today. People go, you failed. I looked at you, hey, maybe you get 100 blood referrals off the workout floor. Yeah. Hey, I could recognize that today. Yeah, when you go home by the end of the night, I always have a rule with all the team players and all the managers. You never let anybody go home with a negative thought.
Wow.
Never. Because when they go home, our world has changed. When they walk out of your gym, your facility, your business, your corporate office, you know what they're doing? They got this little thing called the phone. And that little thing called the phone, they're going to be texting somebody. They're going to be texting mom or dad, grandma, grandpa, a loved one, a relationship, husband, wife, partner. They're going to be texting somebody. So when they walk out of their job that day, they're making a conscious decision. And let's say they said, hey, you know what? I had a bad day today, and Mike ripped me apart because the fact is I had no sales. I didn't make enough phone calls. Yeah. No, the first thing they do, they tell their loved one that. And when they tell their loved one that, guess what happens? They're always going to support their loved one, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
You go home, tell your wife, hey, listen, you know what? Sean's being an idiot today.
Right.
Odds are your wife's going to protect you over him.
For sure.
It's common bond. It's called love, right? So what I learned at a very young age was nobody could go home with a negative thought. So I create small wins. So every single day, maybe it's a master appointment book. Maybe it's blood referrals. Maybe it's guests. Maybe it's closing percentage. Maybe it's our prospecting outside. Maybe it's calling our corporate calls. Maybe it's our necessary handing out flyers. Very simple stuff. But we always win every day. Small wins. Then you recognize those wins. Versus we have technology ways we do it. Even with all our clubs, I literally send out text messages through group chats every single night, congratulating people who did a good job. How about this pre-sale? Look at this number. It takes hours sometimes to look at all this stuff. But I know if I'm going to preach about winning, I got to keep looking for wins.
Yeah.
So winning is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about in society anymore. Everybody's like, you know what? As long as you try hard. As long as you work hard. That's all bullshit. The world doesn't care about try hard or work hard.
No.
The world cares about winning. Now, don't get me wrong, winning the right way.
Right.
Nothing wrong with being aggressive and being hungry, but you have to have the right habits to do it the right way.
Yeah.
I love what you say, though, because like you said, at the end of the day, you may walk out, and look, I've had these days, all of us, I'm sure, have had these days where you didn't sell anything.
Right.
but it still was a productive day. You still had a great day. You said you made the appointments. You set up some things for down the road. Maybe some big account that you've been trying to get to. Now you have a setup. You have a call with this customer.
Right.
But I love that fact because you set them up where it's not just the sales number. Because like you said, then they walk out. They don't feel confident.
Right.
They feel like crap. And then the next day they're going to come in. Like you said, it's going to be reinforced. Man, that's so then you have those other activities or the other metrics on there they can look at and say, yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't have the sales, but I had this. I had that. You create and you recognize that.
Because as leaders, we don't create paths, right? As leaders, we don't create paths.
That's huge.
As leaders, it's easy to say, you own the company, right? You're the CEO. Sometimes, we get in a world of like, just get production done, dude. What's wrong with you?
Right.
Hit your numbers. I used to do it. I used to make those phone calls. I owned the company. I worked out with the VP. I did everything. What's wrong with you? All you have is one job.
Right.
But what you have to realize is sometimes we forget that we don't create the path for them. My theory is once I create the path, I give them the car. I have it tuned up. I did the training. I get the goal setting. I give them the purpose. Now, if they can't get that car down the road, don't get me wrong. I'll make a quick change.
Yeah, because that's where I want to go with that real quick, because here's where I struggle with this.
Right.
And I get it. I love that. Never let anyone go home with a negative thought. Love that, right? Because that's very easy to do.
Yeah, very easy.
But let's say the ultimate win is to hit this sales metric, right? Because at the end of the day, we all have to go to the bank, right? Got to pay bills. You got to do all this. That takes money.
Right.
And through the 30 days, I've stacked some wins of, okay, you got these referrals. You made these appointments. You did these calls. But you didn't sell anything, right? So, yes, I'm building you up. Where do you bring the reality back to it? Yep, you're doing great in these areas, but...
But I think it goes back to us being leaders. The very first question you ask yourself is why? We never ask this question sometimes. I did this, we did this, I give you this, I give you that tool, I give you that tool. Why? Why doesn't it work? Sometimes, you ask, well, why didn't you make the phone calls? Why can't you close that one sale? Yeah. They go, well, Mike, I couldn't get that person on the phone. They said, I'll wait till next year, budgets. Mm-hmm. And you usually stop right there. My next question would be, well, why do they have to wait for the budgets? Well, why? So we got to be the why people all the time. So what happens is, I know what you're saying. I have a very aggressive culture, don't get me wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
And we hit our sales numbers. But I'm smart to understand nowadays too is you got to be able to get enough wins so people feel confident to get that ultimate sales goal number.
Yes.
Some people say, well, you're born to sell. That's all bullshit. Habits aren't born.
Yeah.
We're not born and say, oh my God, that we have great habits. Habits are developed at a young age by family, by parents, by sisters, brothers, and loved ones, or friends, or good influence or bad influences. So to answer your question really is, I always ask why. So I always pull myself back, because the fact is I'm very aggressive by nature, right? So I have to be able to realize sometimes, okay, let me just step back. Let me ask why. Let me look at my systems. I do this all the time.
Yeah.
I just tweak all my pre-sale systems in our clubs. And our production, I think, went up about 30-40% in the last 2 months.
Wow.
Why? Because the fact is I can't believe that what we are doing, and we're very successful, and we're the best at what we do, continues on forever.
Yeah.
And us as leaders, we sometimes forget, well, why are we hitting our sales matrix? Now, the difference is, if I'm giving them tools, I'm giving them that path, I'm giving them the car to drive, and they don't want to drive it, you're done.
Yes. So there is an ultimate accountability
you're
there
done.
At the end of the day.
You're done.
But what you're saying is look internally first.
Yes.
Why aren't they getting these things done?
Correct.
What else can I do to serve you?
Yes.
And then if you're really laying out that path, we talk about that all the time. You have a proven model,
you're not doing the work.
and you're not following, you're not doing the work, then we have to talk about change.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear on that, because I know in your culture of winning, you are not accepting failure in here. But what you're saying is look at the path to success.
Correct.
Make sure you've given them everything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because the easy way out is saying, hey, you know what, they're lazy. I get this a lot of times from people. The younger generation's lazy.
Yes.
Well, if you look at education, you look at language spoken, you look at technology, they're not lazy.
Yeah.
It's a different way to communicate to them.
Right.
For sure.
So communication is different now. Everything's instant gratitude.
Right.
I got to get it now. So as leaders, or as, let's say we're a little bit older, right? Especially Mike. We're a little bit older, right? Well, a lot older. But
Woo!
50.
Gonna be 50
Holy
in
cow.
a couple of weeks, baby.
I didn't know
Pushing
people
50.
made it that long.
I didn't think
And
so
look this
either.
sexy. It's incredible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'll give you credit. You look good.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
about
you,
all the
brother.
credit I'll give you.
Still, yeah. 50.
But you're right. So that's the whole thing is you give the path. Don't get me wrong. You give the path. You give the card. It's tuned up. And they're not necessarily understanding that.
Yeah.
But sometimes people take time.
Yeah.
And I'm a very impatient person. Took me years to understand how to learn a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just made sure I asked the question why 3 to 5 times. I
3
made
to
sure I asked
5
the why, because sometimes that'll set me back. Sometimes that makes me think. Sometimes that makes me relax. I say, okay, let me view this at a different spectrum. I look at life as a crystal.
Yeah.
I look at a crystal as you could be a rock or you could be a crystal. You ever hold a crystal up to the light and let the sun come through? And what does it do? It beams multiple rays of light. So in life, I believe that's how our mindset has to be. We got to be able to hold that. We're this one rock crystal, but when light comes through, you got different beams of light. And those different beams are all learning beams, learning curves, our different personalities, different ways to necessarily management time and manage people and leadership and family. So we got to be able to multitask in this world. You can be a master of one thing, but you still have to multitask everything else.
Hey everyone, Kevin Ramos here, content manager of the Abs Company. Hope you guys are enjoying this episode as much as I am. We're going to take a pause here and let you take everything in. Be sure to stay tuned next week for part 2 of Win on the Core of Success podcast.